we have federal health care, we have state health care, we have Hennepin health care, we also have Bloomington health care. We have 4 places to go to find the resource to get a flu shot. I don't see the cost effectiveness of having 4 management organizations available to administer a flu shot when I can get it from Snyder's for 10 bucks. And I've taken the 2009 health department budget apart, and I find some other discrepancies, some of which probably can be explained by somebody that's more knowledgeable about that budget than I am. But from the outside looking in, I see us providing services to Richfield and Edina at a lower cost per incident or per patient than a Bloomington citizen going to the Bloomington Healthcare Center and getting the same service. And then I was at a study meeting 3 weeks ago, and they were going through the budget and talking about the health department, et cetera, and the comment was made, well, it only costs $1 a month for the health department, for the services being rendered that they were discussing, which is a small portion of the overall health budget. But the comment was immediately made by Mark Bernard saying that, well, that dollar helps us garner $7 of federal funds in the form of grants and aids. And I'm going like, okay, now not only they are taking $1 out of my pocket for health care that's available from several other places, but they're also taking another $7 locally. But really, when you get right down to it, that's more like
through the federal government.
That's more like $10 or $11 that I had to send to Washington, D.C. to get back through the system for the $7 to hit the table. And I'm going like, this really doesn't look to me like it's very cost effective. And I really think that I ought to do something about that. The average salary, wages, and benefits of the employees in Bloomington was $101,000. That's the average, okay? You can take the general, you can take the budget, I have it over here on the table. Take the number of employees on the general fund, take the general fund, divide it, and you get 101,000. This year, it's up to 104,000. Average salary, wages, and benefits per employee, okay? The process that's happening is they're not going back and looking at, are we getting improved performance for increased pay? The process that's happening is we keep increasing the salaries and wages of the city employees, and other cities aren't. We have the highest wages, salaries, and benefits average of the cities that touch Bloomington. The next highest, if I remember right, from 2010 was $96,000. We also have an issue, from my perspective, that says, okay, if I'm a corporation and I'm manufacturing something, I divide my sales by my number of employees. And I find out, you know, I've got $10 million in sales per employee in a sales organization. Or overall the company, I've got $250,000 sales per employee. So I took the number of citizens in Bloomington and the number of employees in Bloomington, and I divided it. It's slightly over 200 citizens served per employee. That's the lowest number of any community that touches Bloomington. I've got the highest cost employees. I've got the lowest number of people served. That tells me one of 2 things is going on. I'm either overstaffed and or overpaid on my budget. Well, I have been doing a lot of phone calling, and I called probably well over 300 people so far. And I would say that the better half of those people have been receptive to, you know, we're paying too much in taxes. They really want to see their taxes go down. Secondly, they wonder about some of the services that they're paying for. And I use 2 words. One of them is want, and the other one of them is need. We need streets, and we need sewers, and we need, you know, electricity, and we need the basic services, snow plowing, and things like that. But when you get to wanting something, I want a waterfall in my backyard, but I can't afford that. Right. And I think there are a lot of things in the Bloomington budget that have come about because somebody wanted to do it. And nobody stood up and said, do we need it? So I'd like to get to the place where we really define what we need and we really focus on that. So. One of the things that I took a very significant interest in was the Hennepin County tax report. And I looked at my taxes and again, they were going up. And I'm going like, this is like 30 years in a row, you know? So, you know, they're almost double what they were when I bought the house. So I'm going like, something's funny here. So I went to the city, I got the city budget, and I started taking that apart, and I started asking questions. And as I asked questions, the people at City Hall became more and more reserved. They just kind of like, what's this all about? What is he digging for? What's going on here? And eventually, it got to the place now, at this moment in time, where any request that I make of the city has to go through Mark Bernardson, the city manager. None of the managers or none of the people in the city are allowed to answer questions to me unless, you know, they can take the questions, or I can submit them on a form, and they gather the information, and they pass it through Mark, and he edits it or passes his blessing on it. You know, first of all, I object to that. I think we should have an open government organization. If truth and honesty and integrity are the guidelines and the format of the individuals that work there, then they should be telling me the truth. They should be honest with me, and there should be a level of integrity that says, I'm an honest person, I'm asking an honest question, I deserve an honest answer. And there shouldn't be a question of whether Mark Bernardson agrees with the answer or not. The answer is the answer is the answer.
Or if he thinks he should have the answer.
Yeah, or whether I should have the answer or not. No. You know, I know there's chapter 5 of the state statutes. It says, if I'll put my money on the table for the carbon copy or the Xerox copy, they need to give me the report. The employees in Bloomington are doing a good job. For the most part, they have all been courteous and respectful and forthright with me. The fact that Mark Bernardson has an issue with my asking questions that he doesn't understand why I'm asking or what the outcome might be.
I think it's more like he doesn't want to have to give the answer.
Pretty much. You know, some of it's obfuscation because they'll say, you know, I get a report, but a formula on the report isn't available, so I have to ask for the formula, but the formula depends on other spreadsheets, so I have to ask for the other spreadsheets. You know, it's sort of that, you know, we'll give you a little bit, but we won't give you the whole puzzle. You know, well, that's okay. That's their prerogative. But at the end of the day, I don't feel that that's the way government should act. I don't feel that's the way government should interface with the public. I think any citizen should be able to walk up and ask a relevant question and expect a responsible, honest, open answer.